2019 was a great year for film, so now here are my top 10 most anticipated films of 2020. What's up, everybody? Thank you guys for tuning in this video, and thank you guys for watching it. These are going to be my top 10 most anticipated movies of 2020, and I'm super excited to make this. 2019 was a really easy time for me to, when I was like, oh, I'm going to be super anticipated for these movies. I can't wait. It was really easy for me to pick those films. I was like, oh, The Rise of Skywalker, Endgame, Once Upon a Time in Hollywood. It was a really easy list for me to make. I know I wasn't making YouTube videos, but in my head, it was real easy for me to know which ones I couldn't wait for. But now in 2020, we don't have these gigantic movies like we had in 2019, so it's definitely a little bit harder. I don't know every film that's coming out in 2020. I'm sure there's films that I'm going to leave off this list that I'm going to love later on in the year. And I'm sure there's films that, when I was doing my research, that I completely missed and have no clue they're even going to come out this year. So without further ado, let's roll in to my top 10 most anticipated movies. Starting off with number 10, I have The Woman in the Window. I didn't even know about this movie 2 weeks ago. I was riding with one of my friends home from work, and he was talking about this movie the entire time. He's like, have you heard of it? I'm like, no, I have no idea it's coming out. He's like, no, it stars Amy Adams. I was like, what? And when we got back, he showed me the trailer, and I have been crazy interested in this film ever since. Apparently, it's based off a book that I've never read, so I don't know anything about this film other than the little bit of the synopsis I researched, and that Amy Adams is starring it. The trailer looks great. This could be a great mystery thriller if done right, and so far, that's what it's kind of shaping up to be from what I'm seeing from the trailer. Either way, I don't know too much about this film, and I don't want to know too much about it because it's coming out in a few months. I can't wait to see it, and that's why it's my number 10. At number 9, I have Black Widow. The Marvel Infinity Saga is done, but obviously this takes place prior to that ending. Part of me is wondering if this will be the last time we ever see Scarlett Johansson suit up as Black Widow. I've enjoyed her time as Black Widow, but I don't know her contract situation, and so I'm like, will she show up in one of the Disney Plus shows after this? Or maybe with the success of this solo movie, they might do a second one. The trailer for this film looked real good, and obviously with the addition of David Harbour and Florence Pugh, it's a good cast. The trailer looks good, and the cast looks great for this film. Marvel can make some pretty dark films. Obviously, we have Infinity War and Endgame. They're not super dark, but that's as dark as I think they're gonna ever get with it, and I hope Black Widow's around that kind of same darkness. I don't want to see too much forced comedy. I want to see what Black Widow was going through at this time, and more of her style of movie. I think the darker style fits Black Widow more. With a good first trailer, a pretty good freaking cast, and me wondering if this might be the last time we see Scarlett Johansson as Black Widow, it's definitely my number 9 most anticipated movie. For number 8, I have Godzilla vs. Kong. Now, I have no idea if this movie is going to be any good at all. For Godzilla vs. Kong, all I really want is a good popcorn storyline and two monsters beating the shit out of each other. I don't need an award-winning storyline or award-winning anything. I just want to eat some popcorn, enjoy the movie, maybe get some good cinematography, and just watch these monsters go at it. I know Godzilla 1 and Godzilla 2, these two most recent Godzillas, have been loved by many and hated by many. I like the second Godzilla, King of Monsters, more than I did the first one, but I still kind of enjoyed the first one. Kong Skull Island was really good. They haven't dropped a trailer yet, but I'm excited for when they do. I just want to see two monsters go at each other. That's the only thing I want to see this movie. Don't try to make it something it's not. Just give us Godzilla vs. Kong and let us watch them beat the crap out of each other. Now for number 7, I have Top Gun Maverick. This film looks real good. The trailers have looked absolutely amazing. I loved the first Top Gun. For some reason, there's been some people I've talked to and they're like, I don't really care about that film. And in my head, I'm like, how? This film looks great. And we got Tom Cruise, who is returning. He's reprising his original role. And by the way, the original Top Gun, I loved. I think it's one of Tom Cruise's best films. I like the original Top Gun more every time I watch it. I'm excited for this one. The addition of Miles Teller, I think it's going to be nice. I like the storyline they're going with, and I think this is going to be a really, really good and fun film to watch. And now with number 6, I have Wonder Woman 1984. Arguably, Wonder Woman was the best DCEU movie to date, but it doesn't matter if you think Wonder Woman's the best DCEU movie or not. Everybody can agree that Gal Gadot has proven her haters wrong. In my opinion, Gal Gadot's Wonder Woman has been the best part of pretty much the entire DCEU. She was great in Batman v Superman. She was great in her own solo movie. She was great in Justice League. I'm excited to see what she's going to do in Wonder Woman 1984 because she has definitely taken this role and made it her own, and I love it. She has done a phenomenal job. I like where Patty Jenkins has taken this film. I'm excited to see Steve Trevor return, and I think Cheetah's going to be an amazing villain. I like that this movie's taking place in the 80s and not like the present now. I want to see like Wonder Woman, as she was growing up to be the Wonder Woman we met in Batman v Superman. Obviously, we got her origin story. Now with this movie taking place in 1984, I think it's the correct route to take, and I'm really excited to see what they do with it. Now let's move into the top 5. At number 5, I have Last Night in Soho. There has not been much talked about for this film, but from what I do know, it is directed by Edgar Wright, who's absolutely amazing. His Baby Driver was great. That's his last film. But this is going to be a psychological horror film from him, which maybe I'm mistaken, but I don't think he's done yet. And this is now super interesting to me. I mean, say that out loud. A psychological horror film directed by Edgar Wright? How is this not in everyone's top 10? I am excited for Edgar Wright's take on this film. I don't know too much about this film, so I'm not going to stand here and take too much time talking about it, but it is easily my number 5. I think maybe if I knew more about it, it'd be higher, but I'm going to leave it at 5. I cannot wait for this film. Edgar Wright is great. Now at number 4, I have the Japanese anime Weathering With You. Now does this count as being my top 10 most anticipated movies of 2020? Because technically it got released in Japan mid-2019. It has screened at a few festivals so far, but I don't care. I'm putting this on my most anticipated movies of 2020 because it technically doesn't release in America until next week, January 15th, 2020, so easily this is in my top 5. I am really excited for this. It is being directed by Makoto Shinkai, who directed my favorite anime so far, Your Name, or the Japanese name Kimi no Nawa. It is absolutely great if you haven't seen it. The anime is beautiful. The storyline is beautiful. It is just almost, in my opinion, a perfect movie. He's also directed some animes like 5 centimeters per second and The Children Who Chase Lost Voices. If you guys haven't seen those are also really good. But his new one, Weathering With You, this one also looks super good. I am crazy excited for it. I lived in Japan for 3 years, which kind of made me start to enjoy and appreciate the Japanese style anime. And movies like Your Name or the Studio Ghibli movies, they really made me understand the appreciation of why the Japanese like it so much. And now with Weathering With You, it looks like another beautiful anime. I see this movie next week. I am 110% in. I hope it lives up to my hype. I hope this makes my top 10 movies of 2020 at the end of the year. We'll see, but let me tell you this. I'm in. If you haven't checked out his past anime films, like Your Name, like The Children Who Chase Lost Voices, I recommend you do it because he is a phenomenal and a great anime director. And I think Weathering With You is going to add to his great list. We'll find out soon. So let's move on to my top 3. At number 3, I have The Devil All the Time. We are at the point now to where Netflix movies are still big. I know a little while ago people used to get a little, is Netflix movies going to be any good? They're usually not that good. But now when Netflix releases big films like they did last year with Marriage Story and The Irishman, people don't worry no more because Netflix has a good track record now. This is another one where there hasn't been much news released on it at all. This is supposed to be a psychological thriller based off a book of the same name. It has a great cast in Robert Pattinson, Bill Skarsgård, Haley Bennett, Tom Holland, and more. It's directed by Antonio Campos, and I haven't seen any of the stuff he's directed, so I don't know how great of a director he's gonna be, but from the little I've read about this film, and there's been almost like no news released from it. I mean, Netflix just talked about movies they're releasing this year, and I didn't see that on this list at all. I started questioning, is it even being released by Netflix? But then I did some research, and apparently, the last piece of news that I read from like July 2019 said, Netflix has the rights to it, and it's coming out in 2020, so. But that's it, that's the last piece of news I've heard on this film. Again, I don't know much about this one, but with the great synopsis that I've read, and the good cast, I think this one could be real good. At number 2, I have Tenet. Christopher Nolan's new film looks really crazy. I got to see the little IMAX sneak peek right before The Rise of Skywalker, and it looked really good. I mean, with Christopher Nolan, he just puts out great films. Inception, The Dark Knight, The Prestige, Memento. I mean, this guy just drops great films, and I think I've liked all his films so far, Interstellar included. This one looks like a time-twisting, who knows, mystery, whatever it is. And I'm all for it. I'm confused from the trailers, I'm confused from the sneak peek they showed at IMAX, and I'm probably going to be confused after the movie, and I don't care. Christopher Nolan, time-twisting thriller, I am in. And finally, my number one is Dune. Let me just name off the cast real fast. Timothée Chalamet, Zendaya, Jason Momoa, Oscar Isaac, Rebecca Ferguson, Josh Brolin, Dave Bautista, and so many more. What a great cast they have assembled. This movie's currently in post-production now. It's expected at the end of this year, and apparently there was a movie made in the 80s. I didn't watch it yet. It is based off a book. And this movie's pretty much about a son of a noble family who's entrusted in protecting the galaxy's most valuable asset and vital element. This film is being directed by Denis Villeneuve, and I'm sorry if I pronounced that wrong. I've looked up how to pronounce it, and I still think I'm struggling to say it. But it is being directed by him. Most recently, he's given us Blade Runner 2049. He's also given us Arrival and Sicario. And now he's about to give us Dune. He is on a roll, and I have no reason to believe this movie will be bad at all. The more I hear about this movie, the more excited I get. I know we probably won't be getting a trailer for probably 5 to 6 months, but holy crap, let me see something from this movie. I am so excited. I'm trying to tone down my excitement, which is something I've learned from the past. It's don't go to the movies overly excited, because then it might sway what you think about the movie one way or another. But either way, everything I've heard about Dune just makes me crazy excited and ready for this film. If you guys haven't heard about it, I recommend you look it up. It's being distributed by Warner Brothers, and I think this might be nominated for a lot of awards come 2021, at the end of 2020. So be prepared for that one. I think this one is going to be a really, really good film, and that is why it's my number one most anticipated film of 2020. And that's it. Those are my top 10 most anticipated films of 2020. What are your films you're looking forward to this year? Drop them in the comments below. Like this video, subscribe to the channel, maybe hit that bell button if you're feeling like it, and have a great morning, day, or night, wherever in the world you are, at whatever time you're watching this. Bye-bye.